into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. Hope you had a tremendous Christmas. No episode last week, but kind of difficult scheduling with the holiday. But we are here this week to discuss Chapter 67 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Happy Endings, ... And then, ... The cops bust in. I'm joined today by the guy who reviews every manga chapter with me going back for the last several months, my brother Leonard from the NPC pod. Leonard, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Whatever holiday that everyone celebrated, I hope you had a happy holidays. For people who are starting Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa,
We did
all
find
that
out
good
that it's the
stuff.
first day of Kwanzaa today.
Exactly. And, I don't have the Dragon Ball do-rag on, but
Not yet.
I feel the energy still. So,
Yeah, man. It's funny. As you were getting in on the Zoom call tonight, I had my Spotify playlist going, and just before you joined the call, it's like it was your anthem, like getting me warmed up for you, man. Dragon Ball do-rag right
exactly.
there. Mm-hmm. And then joining us this month for our Patreon-based discussion, our patron at that $25 tier for some ridiculous reason, man. I don't understand why. Alex Summers. Alex, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Yo, what's up, man? I am great. And $25 because I thought that's how much I had to pay to get on the podcast.
That's exactly how much you have to pay every single time from now on. We are honestly kind of looking at changing some Patreon stuff around. More to come on that. I think we're going to be mostly audio-based commentary stuff for the $5 plan next year, because if you didn't check out the Marvel and Star Wars episode that I did with Ant last week, go check it out. There is so much stuff coming on Disney Plus for the duration of 2021 into 2022, starting in just a couple weeks, actually, with WandaVision. I think that's the week of January 15th. And I am so goddamn pumped for that show. And just to see the Marvel Cinematic Universe kick off in this, television episodic fashion. We're going to be doing commentary tracks on it week to week for that $5 plan. So think about it. If that's not enough to sell you on it, we are doing like a 12 Days of Christmas thing. We just unlocked a bunch of premium content that we've released over the last 3 years. Some old super dope video stuff, some uncut podcasts, some really drunk podcasts, some embarrassing videos, some fun videos, toy-based videos, because, Christmas, I guess. All that stuff's for free right now. There's a link for that in the show notes as well. Go check it out. All right. Anyway, it's enough plugs. Chapter 67, Happy Endings. Was it that happy? And then, so we're going to, let me just run through this first part of the manga, and then we will, I'll get ready to ask you this first question. Following up at the end of chapter 66, obviously 67 comes after 66, Vegeta to Goku. Hey, are you going to let me know where that big final burst of energy came from that let you defeat Moro? Pretty, logical question for Vegeta and the gang to be asking, after they obviously celebrate that their, friend Goku is, not dead and he defeated the enemy. Goku basically responds with oh yeah, I don't know. Sorry. I guess we'll find out in due time. Meanwhile, we see the Daikaioshin basically saying goodbye to Oob, and then Daikaioshin retreats back to the lookout to meet up with the rest of the gang and reverts back to his Majin Buu appearance. So Daikaioshin is now out of the picture. The one person that Oob has directly interacted with from the group is now, I guess, back within the depths of Buu. So everyone's really happy to have Buu back, Mr. Satan especially. Obviously, Buu is very hungry now that he's gone through this. I don't know. Did he really do anything? Regardless, he gets a big feast ready for him because he's so happy to have his buddy back. The Namekian Dragon Balls sort of correct a lot of the damage that Moro inflicted, brings the Earth back to the status quo, revives anybody killed by Moro, anybody, good or bad. And we're going to have a big party, I assume, at Capsule Corp before we're off to this intergalactic galactic patrol ceremony in the next scene. But what I found most notable or most enraging, I guess, about this is I fully expected after chapter 66 and Oob's energy to be the thing to get them over the hump. I thought that there was almost no way that you don't bring Oob into this now to have him be a new character in the gang, that maybe Goku starts to train him like this is the way in which the two characters meet now. Or, maybe we're working toward that world tournament in which they meet for the first time. Now that Oob is directly interacted with the Daikaioshin, how do you let the kid unsee that and just let him go back to his normal life? Apparently, the Daikaioshin just disappears, no big deal, and Goku doesn't really have it concern him more than, we'll find out eventually. Are you guys, Leonard, I'll start with you. Are you guys as pissed as I am about them seemingly continuing to kick the can down the road with Oob?
Kind of, but not really. I mean, I expected it because just like he's a kid. Looks like they want him to have like his regular life instead of how sort of quote unquote Goku kind of walked into that life himself. So I guess maybe they just want him to more enjoy his life as a kid. And if there's like oh, we ever need something, there's that kid in that faraway region that everyone's forgot about. But I mean, of course, I would love to see more Oob in this, just because literally Oob is one of my favorite characters. Of course, just maybe they might be saying up for an actual canon so that GT becomes a part of Super, because that's one of the everlasting questions is like, is it canon? Is it not? What are we going to do about it? But I guess time will tell, maybe sooner than we think, hopefully.
Yeah, so that's a pretty interesting point that I'm going to want to come back to at a later point in our discussion regarding the GT being canon thing. I think that there are tones for this arc that maybe aren't direct tied to, but they're definitely borrowing from an arc in GT. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But Alex, are you pissed about them kicking the can down the road for Oob too, man? Because I don't know how you do that. You got me ready for it, and then no.
I mean, as far as being pissed, I say I'm more so. I kind of understand because I don't think they're quite ready necessarily for the ending of Dragon Ball Z to happen. I don't know why they're taking so long to get to that ending, but I just don't think that they're necessarily ready for it. So I feel like whatever they're going to do, I think they are trying to set it up so that he's at least he's at least part of the story somehow. So when they do get to that point, it's like gradually there, not just like how at the end of Z it was just like, oh, here's Oob, and then we had to wait for GT to find out who Oob really was.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point, actually. I guess it's kind of bothering me because they've hinted towards him a couple of times. We've seen images of him, I think, at least a couple times before. They mentioned him once, I think, where he's basically off screen. We see a quick panel of him. I think those might be two separate occasions. I could be wrong. Either way, it kind of does make sense because when you meet him at the end of Z, you just got to be like, he's the reincarnation of Evil Boo. Right. 10 years have passed. Who knows, what the context is for these two meeting. It seems like at the end of Z, they've got no clue that this person even exists. Goku seemed to have been tipped off, that he would be there. That's what makes him enter the tournament, but he's not really sure who he is or what he's looking for. I don't know. I guess it kind of does make sense to have some touch points with the character before bringing him in fully with the cast. But when you bring when you bring in the God of Gods, the Daikaioshin to go meet him, it's like, how does the God of Gods not be like, good job, little kid, let me fly you back to the lookout to meet the rest of the gang?
Yeah, I think like with the Daikaioshin, I think they're trying to add more depth to Oob somehow by letting him have what they say is God powers and these crazy Majin Buu devil powers too. So I guess that adds more depth to his untapped potential.
And now that you mention it, that's another good point in that it actually kind of makes sense as to why they never meet over that 10-year period, because he's got that divine energy that he can't just actively seek out and sense. If he did, and that's not something that they really talk about at the end of Z, like how is somebody so powerful out there then Goku didn't, sense them and track them down? This is kind of a nicely written in reason. Moving on. Got this Galactic Patrol ceremony to get some. There's a lot of Star Wars going on in this chapter, I feel, but we have to give the people who blew up the Death Star that was Moro some medals in a intergalactic award ceremony. And I forget exactly what his title is. King of the Universe. We're just gonna call him Octopus Man with a crown. It's fun to see his character be the guy to, bestow the medals on people. It's fun to see Goku, go to shake his hand and, I don't know, grab his junk,
Like this ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling. He had to have known, right? He knew what he was doing. You think Goku's a little curious sometimes?
He's trying to have another kid, and it's going to be stronger than Gohan Goten himself, and even stronger than Pan. It's going to be
I've seen what happens when I breed with a human. Got to breed with this octopus. See what happens.
Exactly. He's going to be it's going to be an octopus, and it's going to have green. It's going to be all green, but its hair is going to be just like Goku's, and instead, he's going to wear purple all the time. He's going to be just like Gohan, but look like Goten, but a squid.
All right. You've put some serious thought into it. I'm down. Word. Anyway, we get Jocko. That was really good, dude. We get Jocko, and has a really long last name that I did not write down because it was like 55 letters, and I can't write things that long. I can barely read, So
let me see if I can find it.
Do you want to though?
I do.
And that's when they give the medals to Goku, Vegeta, Jocko, and then there's one more person that they have to thank. And then in the back of the room walks Merus. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm going to say both just to cover my bases. Anyway, Merus has been brought back to life. And everyone's really surprised and happy to see him. And he, goes on to explain that he ceased to exist as an angel. And then we get this flashback scene to a few days earlier when Beerus and Whis are summoned to, talk with the Grand Priest. We see them get called away at the climax of the Moro arc there, and they get called away to go talk with the Grand Priest. We all speculated, maybe he's really pissed about Merus, using his angel powers outside of, angel duties and, basically losing a son. Maybe it would make sense for them to, be in some kind of, big trouble. And maybe Beerus's job is on the chopping block to some extent, was what we were talking about for the last manga chapter. Turns out, that's not really the case. While the Grand Priest was very upset about one of his children ceasing to be, somebody had already come to try to, correct the balance of things on that. Kaioshin went to see the Grand Priest and offered up his own life in exchange to restore Merus's life. So the Grand Priest is flattered by the offer, tells him no, that's okay. Beerus, on the other hand, is pretty pissed off because if Kaioshin had bid it, then he would have too. So I think that's pretty interesting that Kaioshin will forever wield that power over this pissed off purple hungry cat. But no, the punishment instead will be that they meaning Whis and Beerus, have to hang out with the Xenos for the day while their guards, their attendants, basically go hit the sauna, hit the hot baths, the hot springs. So now that Merus has been restored, no longer exists as an angel, but as a mortal, and seemingly will continue to work with the Galactic Patrol, What does the power scaling look like for that? You'd have to imagine so much of what he was able to accomplish as like the top galactic patrolman was because he had these angelic abilities and this crazy speed and power that, you know, he wasn't really supposed to use, but given the job, he didn't have to borrow from those powers too heavily. He avoided the radar, stayed off the radar, and then he has to kind of, you know, bring it to another level to train Goku and fight Moro, and subsequently he vanishes. Um, if he goes back to being a galactic patrol officer, I have no doubt that he'd be able to do that job still without his angel abilities. But is he going to be somebody who Goku and Vegeta are going to go train with again? Is he somebody who is going to contribute if another big, strong, moral type level fighter shows up? Is he somebody who's going to be able to, you know, still help out now that he's lost his angel abilities? Leonard.
I think that I'd say probably that, yeah, Merus will probably be that person where it's like every once in a while you may see Goku trying to train with him. Maybe every once in a while, because I mean, granted, yes, he is immortal, but it doesn't technically mean that he can't still do some of the things that he did while being an angel. Obviously, one of the things is, of course, he's not going to have the staff that he uses as part of the angel duties, I guess. But I feel like he still could, because I mean, think about it this way: Goku and Vegeta, they worked up to the point where they could get to they could use their Saiyan powers to turn into a godly like power. So for me, I feel like maybe Merus may still have a hold on some of those things. Maybe he can't access it currently unless he does a lot more training. But I feel like that may be part of the reason why he's still in Galactic Patrol, because he could probably still do that.
Maybe like the upward limits of his ability still exist, but
Yeah,
you know, that ease to tap into them. Like we could probably still see him do some crazy shit that remains. Like that's one thing about Merus that I think maybe I was quick to dismiss is like his memories and all of his knowledge. Like he's lived for thousands of years, presumably. His knowledge of all the stuff of the universe and all these techniques, and the fact that he's the person to train Goku to achieve Ultra Instinct, you'd have to imagine that he's a character you could very easily write into it and be like, yeah, how did they find out about this crazy technique or transformation or the background on this new big ancient evil big bad thing? Let's talk to one of their buddies who's been in existence for a few thousand years. That's where Merus could come in and fill that role, maybe. I would hope that he can still contribute on a, you know, a big fighter power kind of level. And, you know, hopefully, I talk about it all the time. The goal of Super for the last couple of years, I think, starting with the Tournament of Power, was to be able to expand the circle of powerful people around Goku and Vegeta, because most of the Earthlings just aren't going to be able to get there. That's why you bring in Universe 6. That's why you bring in Universe 11 with Jiren. That's why you bring back Broly. That's why you bring in Merus. That's why you... so on and so forth. So I would hate to see them bring in a character with this kind of interesting background and then just mitigate him to, you know, useful exposition dump. And then, you know, maybe he can step up and fight a mini boss every once in a while for a few minutes and stall for Goku. I guess we'll see. Alex, what do you think, man? What do you want to see from Merus in the future?
I mean, I think Leonard basically hit it on the head with Merus. I do see him like in the long run. You guys described the guy on Star Trek who is just used to show like, okay, this bad guy's pretty strong. Like,
yeah, me and Ant talk about that Warfing,
yeah,
I think it's called.
Yeah. So I feel like throughout Dragon Ball, Goku always finds an ally who was previously way stronger than him, and then they nerf him. From Yamcha to Tien to Piccolo. You know what I'm saying? It just threw out. So even Majin Buu was a formidable foe. Now he just sleeps all the time. So I just feel like, yeah, so with Merus, it's a way for them to show that Vegeta and Goku are on another level again, and Merus is there to show, like, okay, this bad guy is strong enough to be worthy of their opposition, I guess.
Yeah, no, and I think Vegeta's occupied that role for much of the last, you know, whatever, 30 years since he kind of made the transition to becoming a I guess, anti-hero to now very much a hero and protector of the Earth. So I guess we'll see how the power scaling falls with him. I hope he's a character we still continue to see, because just as easily as it would be to put him into that kind of role, it would be easier to just have him not really show up anymore too. And I think he runs equally as much of a risk with that too.
Oh, yeah, definitely, I agree. I just hope that they change his hair.
He does have the most intolerable goddamn hair in the entirety of all the universes.
He's pulling a Gohan.
But like a fucking Gohan, do it your home. But a fucking Gohan, do it at, I can't even speak, dude. Do it at home yourself, kid.
Maybe because he's mortal now, he'll have a sense of style. Maybe that was his generic angel hair.
Exactly. I mean, look at Beerus. He's been wearing the same thing for what, thousands of millions a year? So
Right.
All of them. Yeah, they got that one outfit, that one do, and they're like, all right, this is it. Committed.
have a redesign. Make everyone different. Goku wears red now. Vegeta, he wears nothing.
He wears royal blue. Oh.
Sure.
Vegeta the fourth, right?
Yes, Vegeta, Prince Vegeta the Fourth.
Why do you want Vegeta to be naked so bad?
Look, man, he's got pent up aggression. You never know. Maybe he has a heart on every time he's fighting Goku.
No, he definitely does.
Wow, this took a turn very quickly.
Yeah. Pause. We got to say pause.
Exactly. Pause. Pause on that.
God damn. Moving on, the next scene that we have in the manga, we see Jocko go back to his post on some kind of galactic patrol ship, and he is doing his cyber patrol duties, which I guess are just, internet shopping.
He's waiting to get a PS5 like everyone else.
Yeah, he knew what he was up to, man. He making good use of his time at the office, that's for sure. And that's when one of his co-workers, I guess we'll call them. Co-worker? I didn't catch his name. I don't know if anyone else got his name. If you got a name, let us know. That's when one of his co-workers comes over, busts his balls about his internet shopping habits. I'll tell you, man, there is no better feeling than catching one of your co-workers online shopping at work. I used to do it to this one kid I managed all the time, and I was like, what you doing? It was like the most gratifying feeling. Anyway, this Jocko has a similar moment where he gets caught in the act. And he is dragged along for this little mission to the Galactic Patrol prison. And Goku, Jocko's co-worker comes in and says, hey, to some of the prisoners that we saw during the Galactic Patrol, or the Galactic Prison breakout, a few chapters back, we see some of these other villains that have, we've already kind of encountered. He asks them these additional questions on a distress signal that he has received. It's very faint, and there's a possibility that it is just like a malfunction or a misreading on their detectors, I guess, their equipment from the fight with Moro. But they go to ask these prisoners in the Galactic Prison, Space Jail. That's it. Space Jail, if they know anything about this potential distress call. It's at that point the prisoners kind of hint that they know something about 7-3 that maybe they were not aware of. They ask the Galactic Patrol officers if they made sure that 7-3 was completely gone, destroyed. And Jocko kind of gets a little cocky with his answer, pretty much something like, what do you mean, make sure? We obliterated him. Real cocky. And that's when all the inmates are like, ha ha ha. You don't know what the hell. You don't know if you did it or not. You don't know if you did the job now, did you? They have no idea. Now, there's another additional comment from one of the other convicts. We'll call them space convicts because we're in space jail. Basically, he says, we're not really working with you. Like, we're not here to give you information. You guys put us in jail. You killed our friends. To which one of the Galactic Patrol officers responds, your grudge is basically with Moro. It's not with us. He's the one who killed all your friends. And Jocko responds with, yeah, he straight up killed 7-3. And the Space Convict responds with, yes, you killed our friends, but you just talked about 7-3. You can't kill what wasn't alive. Alluding to the idea that he's not a natural organism, even though we've seen like some kind of technological capabilities within his fighting style. Sounds like he's 100% tech. And that's the little tease. It was kind of confusing in how they presented it to us, I thought, but after I read the panel a couple times, it made sense to me. At the same time as this explanation is happening, we get the cut back to Earth where the remainder of 7-3 lives. It's this little tiny organism, little piece of matter. It just kind of folds over and develops into the top of 7-3's head. And before you know it, there's a full head getting picked up by two little unknown alien types to be brought back to a spaceship. Jocko and his Galactic Patrol buddy cop pal go to check out the scene to see if they can find any remnants of 7-3, but they are obviously just a little too late. So they go to get some cheese instead. So it's pretty much a given that 7-3, which I think was one of the more interesting characters in the moral arc, is going to be heavily featured, heavily leaned on for this next arc. Who knows how long it'll be. This Granola the Survivor arc, we'll see. It seems like he's going to be pretty heavily leaned on. Could be a red herring. Who knows? But are you guys worried that they're about to rehash what I think was one of the more interesting things of the moral arc and the character of 7-3, the abilities of 7-3, what makes him so dangerous is his ability to copy and store other more powerful people's moves and abilities, powers, all that. Are you worried they're about to rehash a really cool thing way too soon? Because I have that feeling in my stomach. Alex, we'll start with you, man.
I feel like maybe it's an attempt at continuity. This because the moral arc ended, and it seems like very quickly that they're just starting a new arc. So I'm thinking maybe just keeping some elements the same, maybe with 7-3, and you know how Dragon Ball Super, each arc takes 3 or 4 different changes. So maybe it's just the start of whatever the hell's going to happen then.
I mean, you know what? Now that you said that, that's very rational. I'm irrational, so thank you for being rational when I'm not. You know what it kind of reminds me of now that I see it in that context is the end of the Frieza arc. We come back to Earth, and all of a sudden it's Frieza all over again, but he's a robot and his dad's here. I was all about it, but in reality, it was just a front to reveal how fucking badass Trunks was. Which, now that I think about it, this point might, this is going to come up on our next point about our next block about Granola, Granola block. We're going to talk about how much of a badass he is in dropping all of those 7-3 units, but it could be the same kind of thing. They could just be borrowing like the same setup and punchline for the end of the Frieza arc here. Like, oh, you thought Frieza was bad.
Right.
You know, on Namek, now that he's with his dad on Earth and there's a whole army and a spaceship and he's a mecha Frieza, it's going to be way harder to beat him.
Right, because I panicked.
Exactly. How could you not? How could you not? But then you have this setup here where it's like, oh my God, there's how many 7-3 clones? Holy shit, how are our guys going to do this? It reminds me a little bit of, did you guys both watch Mandalorian last week? Yeah. Maybe
I have not even watched any Mandalorian.
All right, I won't spoil anything for you, but let's just say there is a moment where there are overwhelming odds, and you get a sneak peek as to how one person by themselves handles it, and then how another person by themselves handles it. And like when you see the first person handle it, that person almost dies, and you're like, holy shit! It like raises the stakes immediately. I think it's probably a similar thing here where it's like you guys saw how lethal 7-3 was when paired up with Moro, even 7-3 by himself. Now, the next arc, we're really going to raise the stakes. There's like 50 of these motherfuckers everywhere. Mm-hmm. So what better way to like hype up the next guy than to have him come in and immediately mitigate that threat and just shut down all of those clones like it's nothing.
Right. A
Oh
lot of people
man.
been saying it reminds them of the Cooler movie with the Big Eddie star.
Yeah, Big Getty Star. That's actually I have a. That's not in this room right now, but that's one. That's the only Dragon Ball Z movie poster that I have an original print of that I have framed.
Oh,
Love
wow.
that goddamn movie
Okay,
because it has
cool.
the best, one of the best Vegeta entrances when he
Yeah,
saves
that
him
was
from
one of
Mecha
the
Cooler.
best movies.
I love that one. It's a fun one. Leonard, talk to me about your fear of a rehash here. I don't know. I think Alex just kind of saved my opinion on it, honestly. But what do you think?
Yeah. So pretty much, I'm not really too afraid of a fear of a rehash because I don't think it's going to happen. I think that they're going to go into a little bit more about what's going on within the universe itself. And I feel like we're going to see a little bit more of Goku and Vegeta being part of the Galactic Patrol. um, Only reason why I say that is just because this new character, Granola, we don't necessarily know if he's good or bad, although the intention, I'm pretty sure we're thinking, is that he is maybe a bounty hunter, maybe something of that sort. And to me, I think that is a good aspect because he definitely reminds me of Trunks. If anything, he reminds me of the point where Trunks officially got to Earth. Frieza Force comes in. They're pretty much going to wreck stuff, and then Trunks pretty much gets rid of all the goons. And I feel like that's something that maybe they're kind of going back to, but they're going to make it different in a sense where they are going to explore more of, okay, well, who is this guy? Is he part of like a bounty hunter crew or something? Or is he maybe doing this for money? Is he not doing it for money? Is he the person who may have possibly come up with 7-3, which I don't believe that is, but it leaves a lot of questions unanswered, but I'm glad because it lets you think, okay, what is Dragon Ball's next move? Because for most of the Moro arc, we thought, oh, it's going to be this and this, but then they cut it off instantly to say, nope, it's going to be a rehash.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll not even rehash so much as like, you think it could go off in this crazy direction? Nah, it's just going to go back to this old direction. Like, oh,
yeah,
you think the magic aspect is going to be important? Nah, it's just basically going to turn into a screaming match
exactly.
and a big key blast at the end, as always. Um,
Exactly.
so I think it would be, you need to catch up on your Star Wars game, dude, because The Mandalorian is, I think, in all seriousness, again, with no spoilers, I think Toyotaro has been watching The Mandalorian week to week, and he's like, yo, Star Wars is fucking lit, and I need to start incorporating parts of that because parts of the season finales or the way the season concluded for The Mandalorian, there's a couple parts where I'm like, didn't I just see this? I swear to God. I swear to God. Um, anyway, I think that you have a good point in bringing up like maybe it is just an opportunity to show off the ability of Granola and then have us wonder and speculate like who is he? Is he a good guy, bad guy, whatever? Which is kind of what our next thing is about here. Let's just jump into it right here. Yeah, a few months later, the people who have the 7-3 clones, it's a dude by the name of Master Gyochi,
Yeah.
Goichi. Go stupid name. He does remind me of the character of sorcerer, I believe his name is Hoy, who's the guy who wants to release Harudegarn in Wrath of the Dragon. So
Right.
just throwing that one out there. Anyway, Master Goochi is the guy who also, he kind of got some Emperor Palpatine vibes, given like his intergalactic like throne and all of his minions on a spaceship. But that's the person who sent those people to Earth to retrieve 7-3's OG 7-3's head. I love that OG is like part of his real name. The OG 7-3 head brings it back to them. They download all of the data and make a copy of all of the power-ups and all of the new techniques and abilities that 7-3 had previously learned while on Earth.
Including Mara.
I'd have to assume including Moro, yeah. Moro, Goku, not Goku, Moro,
Vegeta.
Merus. I think he grabbed Piccolo and Gohan, Vegeta. Did he grab Vegeta? I forget all the people he
Yeah,
grabbed,
yeah.
but
Remember, he was like, "Your final Big Bang is whack."
yeah, your Big Bang attack is not so cool. In fact, it's whack.
Yeah.
Damn it! I just you're supposed to end on the rhyme. End on the rhyme. Anyway, we find out that they've now copied and downloaded all of that. Meanwhile, we see a ship incoming, a smaller one-person vessel coming in, like a one X-wing, coming in to take on a Star Destroyer or a light cruiser. Goddamn, I can't stop thinking about Star Wars. It's the worst. It's the goddamn worst. We see this one character coming in. We're not sure who he is, but he's talking to somebody on an intercom or a comlink named Oatmeel. It's a real thing. A lot of people asked me when the spoilers came out, oatmeal and granola, that's not a joke. That's real. And I said, yes, it's real. I'm sorry. It's real. This is a comic book series with people with names like carrot and broccoli and vegetable and lunch. Literally just lunch. So yes, granola and oatmeal. Granola is flying the ship in. Oatmeal is trying to give him some intel to help him get into the ship. We see Granola board. We see him quickly find where the clones of the OG-73 unit are. So there's like, I don't know, at least a few dozen 7-3 units just chilling in various states of production, it seemed. I don't think they were all done. Some of them were like in, pods, like liquid-based pods. Some of them were just connected to wire. Some of them seemed to be, roaming free, kind of. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, we have to deal with this big-ass army. You said it before, Alex, the Big Getty Star movie, that scene where you see them on the horizon after they just give their all to defeat one. And then you see the whole line of them on the horizon and they're just like panting. And then they're like, oh, God damn it. And then all the coolest just like skid down the hill. Mm-hmm. And they're like, fuck it. And they just power up. It's one of the greatest moments in Dragon Ball, I swear to God, or at least in a Dragon Ball Z movie. I had vibes of I had that kind of feeling, like that hopelessness, seeing all of these clones. And then all of a sudden, Granola's like, which one do we want? Oh, OG-73, I think it's I. OG-73I, okay, help me identify which one. And he tries to scan which one it is. And in the meantime, he is just destroying all the other 7-3 units with their crystals, like just shooting them with some kind of big-ass laser gun, I guess. And taking care of business in pretty succinct fashion. Which is cool. It could be, future Trunks coming back and slicing Frieza in half to make a statement real quick. It could be that kind of impression they're trying to make, or it could be something worse. I'm worried it's something worse. Before I tell you guys what I think, what do you guys think about Granola? Good guy, bad guy, indifferent? Who wants to start?
Leonard.
All right. Well, Granola to me is just an interesting character. He's just this guy that's shown up and he's just like, oh, cool. I'm just doing something, wrecking stuff and trying to find OG-73. For what reason? We don't know. And he has like a familiar look. It looks like as if they tried to take Tapion, but made him different.
So if you watch Super Dragon Ball Heroes, the eyepiece that he has, and the green skin looks almost a little, and the hair a little bit looks almost a little bit like, actually, I can't believe I just said that it's green skin. We don't know that it's green skin. It's a black and white comic. I'm assuming it's green skin for some reason. He looks a little bit like Zamasu to me, but that eyepiece that he wears over his eye is something that in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, I think Fu wears. He does have some Fu vibes from Super Dragon Ball Heroes as well.
It wasn't Fu. It was God, I don't know his name. The buff dude, the other dude, not Fu. Fu's like the leader. It was the guy they were fighting, and he kept summoning all the
Hearts.
bad guys.
Was it Hearts?
Heart. Yeah.
Oh, with his stupid Swedish sunglasses.
Yeah.
That guy was the goddamn worst. His gravity pull. I'm so happy that we don't really care about Super Dragon Ball Heroes. It's the stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that he just could be? You're withholding judgment, is what you're saying, Leonard? Like you're not sure if he could be good or bad. You just want to wait and see.
Yeah, because it definitely seems like it would be a very interesting aspect to see what his whole demeanor is, like his purpose, what he's gonna be.
I think he could be the next big villain. Alex, what do you think?
Um, do I think whether he's good or bad
Yeah,
is the question? Uh, I don't feel evil. Like when he came on the screen, like he wasn't Frieza evil. Like we just know he's evil, or like Majin Buu pure evil. Like I feel like he's somebody who might have an objective, and perhaps like he might get painted somehow by being possessed, or maybe whatever his goal is triggers him to be an antagonist to our heroes. But I'm not quite for certain. I feel him as evil currently.
hell yeah, Alex. I like where your brain's at too, because it would be a good way to set him up as this super powerful good guy and be like, look at all these, look at how positively he could contribute. He just dropped 27 3 units by himself while looking for the, one specific one and was real calm, cool, collected about it. He must be super powerful. And then it's like, yes, he is super powerful and a good guy, but now he's evil, like a Majin Vegeta
Right.
kind of scenario. And good luck,
Mhm.
putting the cap back on this one. Yeah, it could be something like that too. I think maybe, I mean, that's a very good possibility, but I think maybe they're setting it up where we see him do something that serves the better interest of our heroes. Cause like I said, man, when I saw Master Gyochi or whatever sitting on his throne, I'm like, look at this Palpatine wannabe looking mother. And then I saw the clones of 7-3 and I'm like, oh my God, that's a hell of a lot for anybody to handle. These guys could barely handle one. Never mind,
Mhm.
multiples. And then dropping him in there and taking out what would be eventually somehow a threat to our heroes, it gives you that sense of relief where you're like, oh, thank God, man. Now we don't have to worry about that. But even though it does serve the interest in the short term, the only reason he's able to do that is because he's got, ulterior motives for the
Right.
technology that is 7-3. And who knows how he plans to use it. And now that we've seen him without that technology at his disposal, how scary is it going to be once he has it fully at his disposal?
I feel like the way he's mysteriously is introduced reminds me of how Merus was mysteriously introduced. Like we knew Merus was not just some old regular dude, but we didn't know the depth of uh, who he was as a character when he was first introduced with the Galactic Control. So the mysteriousness of the character at the beginning of the arc, I see is something that Corey Carl likes to do when introducing a new arc. He likes to surprise with a new character that we don't really know what his background is.
And it also gives him sort of a, at least one or two get out of jail free cards too, because you kind of give a character an open-ended background when you introduce them. If you write yourself into a corner, into a little bit of a corner, you always have that character's, mysterious background and origins to kind of be like, oh, things are like this way, and we don't have a reason to get out of it. Boom, this character is going to get out of it for us this way, because I never really truly defined, the parameters of where this person comes from and what their powers are. That's Dragon
Now
Ball.
that I think about it, yeah, I was about to say, now that I think about it, that's how every Dragon Ball Z arc almost
That's
starts.
Dragon Ball.
We don't know who Raditz is. Who is Raditz? Then who is Trunks? Then who is Majin Buu? Like it's always some mysterious entrance. Yeah.
Very true. I don't know, Granola the Survivor arc. What's interesting is that all the promotional material for this upcoming arc says that this arc is going to officially start in February. So what does that mean for January's chapter? I don't know. Maybe we'll just get a full like slice of life kind of chapter on Earth where Goku and the gang are just hanging out. Maybe we'll get Goku at home story. Maybe we'll see a Vegeta hanging out with his family story. Maybe we'll see some mashup of the two. But all the promo material said that this arc like really starts in earnest in February of 2021. So Any predictions for 68? Maybe. Who wants to go?
I think Alex will go first.
Alex, you got any
Okay,
crazy
okay.
predictions for 68 off the wall stuff?
Well, I think we're gonna figure out a little bit more about Granola and whatever he does on that spaceship. And as far as the Z fighters, I call them Z fighters.
The Dragon Team. My friend Miss Dare Fusion would be very upset with you right now.
As far as the Z fighters, I feel like, yeah, like you said, they'll probably just have to deal with Beer and his wrath for a little while and try to make it up to him.
That's true. He did at the end of that whole Xeno, playing with Xeno, I'm exhausted, fall down. He does go like, "This is all your fault, Goku. I know you saved the universe, but look at what I'm doing now, you jerk." That's a good point, man. Beerus might come back to Earth and just be like, "I'm exhausted. Y'all owe me all the food, cooking competition for the rest of the goddamn chapter. You guys will get 2 panels of granola at the very end of chapter 68. I am Lord Beerus. This is the word of Beerus. Forever and ever, amen." Leonard, what do you got for 68 predictions?
Something I would like to see, something definitely I would like to see is possibly just like an arc of maybe what would be, like you said, like a family arc, sort of. Maybe even just seeing like Goten and Trunks actually be the adult age or teenage age they're supposed to be, because I mean I'm not for one that complains most about designs and stuff, but I would like to see a teenaged Goten and Trunks.
I do think it's notable that there are a couple of different time intervals mentioned in 67, like the time it takes for them to get to Earth to the Galactic Patrol ceremony. It's like a week, and then I realize a week's not very much, but then when the granola sequence happens, I believe it says a few months later. Exactly.
Yeah.
That it starts with the phrase "a few months later." So maybe next chapter we do get that flashback to a slice of life, Earth story, but it's in line with the granola story. Or are we about to get a chapter that happens like completely entirely before any of the granola stuff happens, and it's like, forget about that shit, here's a stupid story to hold you over for a month? Who knows?
I think maybe, like we were saying earlier about them eventually getting to the end of Z, maybe we can pray we get a 2-year time skip or something to get us, a little closer to
have
where we need
to have Goten and Trunks grow 3 years and 6 inches.
Exactly.
Probably
That's
way more
all
than
I
6
ever
inches.
asked
Probably
for.
like a foot and a half. They are very short people. Short people that got people that. No Randy Newman fan. All right, that's my favorite Randy Newman song is the song that he doesn't sing himself in that Family Guy bit.
Oh yeah.
About fat husband walking over. So that's gonna do it for our chapter 67 conversation. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got to the end here, hey, good job. I appreciate you. Make sure you rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcast: Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, those places. YouTube.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. You want a bunch of extra premium content? Patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. And check out the show notes for links to all of that recently made free extra podcast stuff on Patreon for the 12 days of Christmas. Alex, man, thank you so much for being one of those top tier patrons and joining us on the show this week. How do you feel about your first performance?
I was nervous, but it was super dope.
Super dope. Dude, you did a great job. We're going to have to get you a real mic, but you did an excellent job for, I was going to say for your first time, but for like, honestly, any appearance at all, man. You brought some insightful shit to this conversation. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Leonard, what's going on in your world, man? What are you working on with the NPC crew and all that?
We have a new episode coming up. Actually, we're recording it tomorrow, but it'll be out later this week. It's going to be like a New Year / Christmas episode. Basically, we're just going to be talking about whatever game news I think we have, and then we have a segment for like opening quote unquote presents. I'm going to be unveiling something that I got Dan literally a year ago and never gave it to him. He doesn't listen to this, so I can tell you guys.
Oh,
Basically,
fuck you, Dan. I don't even want to make a Christmas gift now.
But I got him. So one of his favorite games is Overwatch. So I got him a poster, and it is signed by one of my friends and who actually works for Blizzard. And so he signed it. He's got other people that signed it as well. And it's going to be a great gift. And I'm hoping it brings some tears to his eyes.
Super dope. That's a good gift, man. You know what I got from my friends this year? For fucking pretty much nothing. I think the only people I actually bought for were the people that I planned to see in person, which is basically just Carlton and Jimmy. I might see Dan. I don't know. Dan, I didn't buy a gift. Don't buy me one. But Jimmy and Carlton, I just got them booze and like a action figure for like a little inside joke, you know, because that's how I usually operate with my friends. Here's some booze, you're welcome, and a little nerdy thing. So Jimmy got a Star Wars figure. I won't say which one because I don't want to reveal spoilers about stuff on the Mandalorian, guys. And then Carlton got a Funko Pop of Iron Maiden's Eddie from the Number of the Beast album, because we listened to a lot of metal in the garage back in the day. That album, chief among them. So if you want to go worship Satan, do yourself a favor. Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast, one of the most metal motherfucking albums of all time. It's also the reason that I go, the first track on the album is a song called Invaders. It's that song and that album is the reason that whenever I get excited about shit, the metal riff that I just automatically do with my mouth is it's like a nervous tick I have that I've been doing since I was literally 12 years old. You guys want to hear the real song? Oh man, thank you for listening to my Christmas gift rant. It's gonna do it for Super Dope this week. I think I already told you to subscribe to the places, so I'm not going to tell you to do that again. I might have some kind of thing on the other side of this audio about my buddy John. If that's the case, listen to it. And yeah, if not, though, I'm going to do a singy song send off now. And I don't know. Let's see. Granola, oatmeal are on the way.